Right outside of our research area, kind of on the very edge of it. We're in the area that was had a forest fire back in March of this year of 2024. It burned approximately 2,000 to 3,000 acres, somewhere in there. I think around 2,700 acres, I believe, somewhere in that vicinity.
You know, something that happened to an animal, they're probably going to take advantage of that too. So anywhere that you would think would be good black bear habitat, I feel like would be also good Bigfoot habitat.
So when we were here doing our, I guess it'll be our second night investigation, we stayed here at base camp doing some call blasting. And what we thought we saw some eye shine up here, and Charles thought he saw some heat signatures on his thermal.
I definitely heard something going on multiple times, so.
Hello, thanks for tuning in to Shenandoah Sasquatch. My name is Tyler Hall and I'm the director of the show. In the last episode, we introduced you the East Coast Expeditions crew, Charles Kimbrough, Tyler Burgoyne, Devin Kautz, and Greg Lambert. Those four gentlemen will stay with us throughout the entire duration of this series. And in this episode, we get into more field research stuff. So we're going to be in Raleigh Springs, Virginia, which is right on the border of West Virginia in the Shenandoah Valley, Virginia. Raleigh Springs is a great habitat for a potential Sasquatch creature because it has everything that Sasquatch would need to survive. It has everything that black bear needs to survive. It has supplemental food source. It has high protein food source, deer, rabbits, raccoons, whatever. It also has freshwater fish because there's a lot of ponds and lakes in this area. There's a Switzer Dam and a reservoir back in this area. The Raleigh Springs area is just a perfect place for any kind of animal to thrive, let alone a Sasquatch, So black bears, I like to think if a black bear could survive in an area and it can get enough food and nourishment to survive, then I would think a Sasquatch could as well, or a human. If a human could survive in these areas, then I would think a Sasquatch could also survive in these areas. So there's plenty of water, plenty of food, plenty of habitat to be able to survive. But stay till the end because we get some evidence that I think is pretty compelling. We were interacting with something, and I think you're gonna want to watch that. So don't miss that because you didn't stay to the end.
Why did we choose this specific area?
So this area of the county is more densely populated with forest. There's less people up in here. There's a lot of national forests, so there's not a lot of people up here. And this particular area we're now is pretty secluded, so it's kind of we set base camp here. We're really close to our research area where there has been a lot of sightings. It's very remote. There's a lot of water, a lot of prey, berries, small game, just all kinds of stuff. So that's where we're trying to focus on an area that has water, some recreational places for people to go, because, and again, Sasquatch are curious, so they might want to hang out around where people are to see what they're doing. And this area has a lot of that.
So this area of Virginia, along the West Virginia border, and a stretch of national forest that follows the Shenandoah Valley, is very rich habitat. There's a lot of wildlife in this area, large deer population, lots of great cover, heavy forest. The roadways through this area, there aren't a lot, and that leaves a lot of terrain that's inaccessible by anything other than foot. So this gives any Sasquatch population that lives in this area plenty of room to spread out and stay away from people. But it also gives them access to all of the resources they need. There's good water here, again, a good food base for them, and it's just a great temperate zone for them to survive in.
There's a lot of opportunity for food. There's water, a lot of forested area here as well, so easy for them to hide. As dry as it's been, there's still plenty of water here in the Shenandoah Valley, lakes and rivers, so it's a pretty good spot for them to live and thrive.
I know of at least 4 sightings within a few miles of where we're at, so it should be a real good place to do some research. I've not been here in the past to do research. It was a hangout place for me when I was a teenager, and we would come up here with our off-road trucks and climb the dam and all this stuff, and then they blocked it off so that we couldn't do it anymore. But that was my hobby as a teenager. So I love being out here in the woods, and it's just a beautiful place.
So versus looking at other parts of Virginia where you have much more development, Northern Virginia, a lot of development there, South Central Virginia, a lot of agriculture going on there. So just more dense human populations in those areas. This is a very quiet part of Virginia.
But this property actually has a unique element to it, and that's the fact that there was a wildfire that came through in March of 2024, and the fire scar still remains from that. But this leads me to question whether or not a Sasquatch creature would be intelligent enough to understand that wildfire can actually help the environment around the Sasquatch creature, around the area that the Sasquatch creature lives. So does it just run the Sasquatch creature out of the area for good? Or does the Sasquatch creature leave for a short amount of time, 1, 2, 3 years, and then have the intelligence to come back to the area to benefit from the wildfire? I think as time goes on, we have answered that question, because if you stay tuned to the end of the show, you'll see that we get some evidence suggesting that there is Sasquatch activity in this area. So that would, to me, prove that a Sasquatch creature wouldn't be driven out completely from wildfire just because a wildfire came through. It would be smart enough to understand how wildfire moves, understand that it replenishes the earth, understand that growth comes from wildfire, those kinds of things. So when we came to the property for the first time, Garrett and I were driving in and we noticed the fire scar, and I just put it away in the back of my head and said, I need to cover this, but I didn't know how to connect it with Bigfoot. But it's pretty obvious that a wildfire would impact negatively or impact positively a creature such as a Bigfoot. So I thought it'd be awesome to add this to the show. And the fact that I'm a wildland firefighter, Garrett's a wildland firefighter, Tyler Burgoyne is a structure career firefighter. We had all the pieces there to start pondering upon the idea of how does fire affect cryptid creatures instead of just known wildlife in the area. All right, Gary, you were telling me about, Tyler was telling you about this fire that came through that we saw coming in?
Yeah, so it sounds like, I mean, you can look right behind you right here, and there's black from where a fire came through.
Yeah.
He had said that about 10 years ago, really big fire came through. But then he made sure to tell me that back in March, another fire came through, which when we were on our drive in, that's what we saw with the burn. I was a little confused when he first told me that, like, 12, 14 years ago, fire came through, and the stuff that we were looking at definitely wasn't that old. So when he told me about March, that made a lot more sense. So if you look around in the woods here near us, you can see that there isn't a whole lot of underbrush. Fires on the East Coast, that's kind of how it works. They don't really catch in the trees. They just kind of burn off everything underneath the understory, and that would make a lot of sense for what we're looking at from where we're staying here.
So we are in the western side of Rockingham County, right outside of our research area, kind of on the very edge of it. We're in the area that was had a forest fire back in March of this year of 2024. It burned approximately 2,000 to 3,000 acres, somewhere in there. I think around 2,700 acres, I believe, somewhere in that vicinity. So we're in the very, very, I guess, western flank of that fire. Most of it was north and then to the east of us. Wildfires are natural. They come through, they burn out the undergrowth, they get all the stuff burned out so that the sunlight can reach new stuff and grow better. It really thrives the animal population later, and short-term acute effect, all the animals run off. Of course, the smoke, the flames, the equipment, the people, they leave, and then they'll come back, and they'll come back to nice new green growth. You'll have more berry growth come back. The small trees will start popping up. I believe the creature is smart enough to come back because it knows the food sources that they eat. Berries, small game, deer, they all come back to this area. So I believe that they're smart enough to come back here and maintain, or come back to this area that they know there's food and maintain their, I guess, theory is that they hike or travel around in 3 to 4 week cycles. I think they'll keep coming back to this area and check it out, I guess.
Do you think fire can play any kind of role in Bigfoot stuff?
Oh yeah, I'm sure it does. I mean, Bigfoot is just like any other animal. When years ago, before we started doing everything that we do to manage fire, fires were a natural part of the environment. And for example, right here is a Virginia pine. They can't reproduce like a oak tree or a maple would. They have serotinous cones that require fire to open them up to let the seeds out for them to be able to grow. When you're talking about like a food source, blueberry bushes, raspberries, wine berries as we call them with the Park Service and stuff like that, they are pioneer species. So when fire comes through and all the junk, I guess you would say, gets burned out, that's what comes back. So for a Bigfoot, blueberry bushes and stuff like that are coming back, then that's where you want to be.
Well, like the bear population too.
Yeah, exactly. When you think about Bigfoot, a bear, a black bear, is also an omnivore. It eats berries, it eats dead animals, it also can be a predator. I like to think that a Bigfoot is very similar to what a black bear would be. Same kind of food sources. They will be predatory, but if they can, if you have a nice blueberry bush sitting there, then they're going to take advantage of it. And if there's also some, something that happened to an animal, they're probably going to take advantage of that too. So anywhere that you would think would be good black bear habitat, I feel like would be also good Bigfoot habitat.
For sure. They're both huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're both over, 200-300 pound animals, and they're both omnivores. So they're probably going to have the same sort of diet and probably live in the same sort of areas.
So we're talking about the fire scars and wildfires, what they do to populations. Back in when Mount St. Helens erupted, and I believe in 1980, I believe, there's people who have documentaries on that of all the animals that were killed during that. And then there's also stories that they had of families, several Bigfoots or Sasquatches that were protected by some sort of government group. And it's, you know, no proof, no evidence, but it's interesting that they actually have found the bodies, and they studied the area. The biologists came in to see how the wildfires that happened and all the after that, and the explosion, what it did to wildlife and how the regrowth and how it messed up the population of animals. I believe it's like over 100,000 animals that were killed during, you know, birds to mice to squirrels, bear, elk, deer, all kinds of animals that were killed during that. You know, I guess that's probably a low estimate is 100,000. They really don't know how many were actually killed during that.
Right. Now, something like this kind of fire, just 2,000-3,000 acre fire, is obviously not going to decimate animal population like something like Mount St. Helens.
Yeah.
But it'll definitely affect them in a more short-term, more short-term time period. So, like, you know, they're gonna leave, and then are they gonna know to come back? And most animals are smart enough, you said. And if we're talking about a hominid or just a intelligent primate species, they're probably going to know to come back.
Yeah, I mean, they're smarter than a deer, and a deer come back. I mean, they have their territory that they roam, so I'm sure they'll come back. And the fires we have on the East Coast aren't near like the West Coast, so it's mainly a smaller, slower ground level fire, so it burns out the undergrowth. Where out west, they have the higher aerial burns, where it gets up in the trees, and it's fast moving, and it just completely decimates everything. I've run quite a few mountain fires over the last 17 years, and I've never seen any animals that have been caught up in the actual burn because it's just so slow. So they're smart enough to get out of the way, and you know they're fast enough to get out of the way, really.
All right, so we keep finding snail shells.
Yeah, we keep finding these little snail shells. This one's been here for a while. This is like the third or fourth one we found, and we're probably a good half mile, 3/4 mile away from the pond. So I don't know if birds are picking them up and bringing them out here, or if raccoons or the snails are just making it that far away. But it's another possible food source for any hungry critters running around here. But we've found quite a few of them so far, and there's a pile of them back at the pond. I guess raccoons are pulling them out. There's a little pile of them that something's been sitting there eating on them. So yeah,
Sweet.
Just another little food source. So there's, like we talked about up there, there's a bunch of snail shells down here. Here's a pretty good sized one that something's had a good little snack on. Got some more down here. They're all busted open. They're just scattered all down through here, so I can't fall in the pond for everybody. Here's another pretty good sized shell. And they're scattered all through here. So something's been coming down here and having a nice midnight snack. Actually, if you look here, there's a little raccoon print right there. So it looks like some deer tracks down here. The deer have been coming down here to get some water.
Have you guys ever found any tracks on this pond?
We have not.
Not here.
We found turkey. I've seen bobcats, but I've not found their tracks before. Of course, deer tracks. Raccoon and coyote tracks, but we've never found any, anything larger than that. Nothing that we're kind of looking for.
This is a unique property, though, just because of how, there's water here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of wildlife population. And then these freshwater snails, or clams or what. No, I guess they're snails.
They're snails. Yeah, they're definitely snails. That's a pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good full one there.
Yeah.
But they're scattered all through here, so something's been coming down here and having a nice snack.
Yeah, because they're cleaned out, huh?
Oh yeah, I mean, you look through here, they're all through here. Here's some good sized snails that they're pulling out of here.
Oh yeah. Dang. Yeah, they're huge. That's a good protein snack.
Yeah, a little escargot. You can see the deer tracks where I'm assuming that looks like they come down here and stand.
Yeah.
There's, like I said, there's a raccoon print over there. Looks like some more old deer tracks, kind of indentions down through here. So they definitely come down here good water source. The pond is fed by water comes down off the mountain that way, and then water comes down off the mountain when it rains really hard. It comes down off in the north there. So we're talking about food sources. Chestnuts are a good food source too. You also have acorns back here, and of course the black walnut trees. So back in this area we're at, we have fish, snails, chestnuts, and acorns. So we got a pretty good food source. There are blueberries on the way in, so definitely got plenty of different variety of things to eat around this area.
Something else unique about this property is the fact that there are tons of American chestnut trees on there, and some of them are quite large, not adults by any means, definitely juvenile trees, but it's very, very cool to see American chestnut trees alive. So the American chestnut has been plagued by an invasive fungus, and it actually gives the tree a blight that ends up killing it after its juvenile stage. So you will never see an American chestnut grow to its mature size. Generations ago, the American chestnut would thrive and grow to over 100 feet tall, and in some cases over 10 foot in diameter. So there's huge, large trees. A lot of people refer to the East Coast and the American chestnut as the redwoods of the East. That's how big they were. They were huge. So for a blight to take out a tree of such stature, what does that mean for a Sasquatch creature? To me, it's not only a loss of food source because of the chestnut itself, but a loss of habitat. These trees are ginormous. And think about a tree, if a tree, a 100-foot tree and a 10-foot in diameter tree were to fall, and what that would create, the root system would create kind of these subterranean semi-cave systems. Large hollow trunks of these trees would create habitats for animals. So with the decimation of the American chestnut comes a big price for the environment and the East Coast in general, but I think a Sasquatch creature would pay very heavy. You're losing a supplemental food source and you're losing habitat. So there are many universities and scientific research groups that are crossing the American chestnut with the Chinese chestnut, and in doing so, they're creating a blight-resistant chestnut species to be able to reintroduce back into the East Coast. They've started reintroducing these trees. I'll never see them grow to maturity, but it makes me hopeful for future generations and for my future kids to one day be able to see an American chestnut in its glory and to see a large East Coast deciduous tree similar to the redwood. I just think that's amazing, and the preservation and conservation of these species are really important, so I just wanted to take a second to talk about the American chestnut.
Yeah, I've been thinking about where to put it, and I think I'd like to put it on the other side of the pond over there, facing this way. It's probably the most approachable area for a Squatch at night, being that he'd have all that water between him and us, and give him a reason to approach. And also, I'm planning to put a thermal out and let it record all night long. And so if I do that, I can point it straight towards the gifting station to see if something does come and take it, we'll know what it is.
Nice.
Have it on therm.
Yeah,
Just like Squeaky.
exactly right. Best thermal footage ever caught was in 2009 down in Uwharrie, North Carolina. They call it the squeaky footage. And a Squatch comes up and reaches over and grabs a candy bar off of a stump.
Zagnut.
And,
We should have bought some
Zagnut candy
Zagnuts,
bar.
man.
And that was Mike Green. Mike Green passed away last year.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's the best thermal footage ever so far.
Stacy Brown down
Yeah,
in Florida.
in Florida.
Him and his
yeah.
old man, they got a Squatch standing behind a tree. Rain is coming down, so this thing is wet, and its thermal signature isn't real hot. But you can see what looked like shoulders poking out from both sides of the tree. And then as they watched, this thing turned to its left and strode across the trail that passed by the tree and into the brush, and you could see it's a full-on profile
Squatch.
of a large squatch.
And the hand on that thing looked like a catcher's mitt. It was
Right.
huge.
Yeah, it was just
Huge hand.
a beautiful piece of video,
Yeah,
and
it was
it's
really
gone like
good.
that.
Yeah,
Yep.
that was really good.
And then another good piece came out of Wisconsin. This was probably one of the first thermal videos that was captured, and I forget the fellow's name. I recall that he makes fishing lures as a hobby, and he had been camping in an area for a number of nights, with no fires, just in the dark, and he heard movement in the woods around him, and he took a thermal and set it up looking down a trail, and you can see a heat signature moving along the trail very low, and it pulls up behind some bushes, and then a head pops up and looks over the bushes, and it goes down and pops up and down for maybe 30, 60 seconds, and it's kind of looking around left and right, and it's about a human-sized head. And then all of a sudden it stands up quickly and darts into the shrubs off to its left, and you can see it moves on two legs. When it stands up and moves into the shrubs, it's on two legs, and it's almost like the Stacy Brown footage, only this thing was smaller, but still very fast, and it belly crawled right in to these bushes before it stood up and bolted.
I liked your video from Uwaris as well, where the one crawled up. There was kind of like a berm there, and it crawled
drop
up
off.
and
yeah.
peeked its head up and just kind of looked back and forth. And then when it dropped down to leave, you could see the shoulder. And you can't say that's a bear. Bears
Right,
don't have
there's no
shoulders.
shoulder. Definitely had a shoulder. And
Definitely
you could tell
had a shoulder.
you could tell that it was looking. I felt like it was reasoning. This thing looked to its right up the hill towards the other campers, and then it turned its head and looked left at the cookie that I had on the picnic table 8 feet from where it was squatted down at, and then it turned and looked straight ahead, and that's where I had my thermal recording all night long. And after a couple seconds, it ducked its head, turned, and went back the way it came. And so I felt like it was reasoning.
Well,
It never
it
took
raised
that
their
cookie.
fool, yeah.
So
Do you think maybe when the camera refreshed and it clicked, it makes
maybe.
a clicking noise, and
does
maybe
make
it heard
yeah,
it?
It does make a clicking sound. It's flat field correction. That's what all thermals do. It resets the image. But I also had it sitting on a picnic table. But again, I had a trash bag over top of my thermal as well,
Right.
so it couldn't see it. But it may have heard it.
It may
but
have heard
it
that
just,
sound.
Maybe it just was reasoning, and it said, "This feels like a setup. This is just too easy."
It's too
I
good to
don't
be
know.
true. Nobody leaves a cookie out smeared
right.
in peanut butter. Not for me, Charles Kimbrough.
Right, have at it, Charles. Tell me what you got there.
Well, originally, when I got into Bigfooting, most of the people that were doing audio recordings was using like ammo cans, and they would take ammo cans and they put microphones in the cans and a car battery. I mean, that's kind of what we were using, because you use what you have access to. But that's kind of changed over the years. We've been able to downsize a lot of our equipment, a lot smaller, make it more hikeable. You can take it in with you, easier to hide. A lot of us have worked together on this design. A lot of the people from my group, East Coast Expeditions, and we've made some changes to the old school ammo can design. So now we're using like 4-inch PVC pipe. This is a 6-inch cap, and we put a hook on it, and you can see microphones on each side, a left and a right channel microphone. That's the left, that's the right, and so inside we have a screw-in cap on the bottom. So with this, we're able to use a digital audio recorder. This one specifically, the Olympus DM620, has the 720 also has the ability to do a timer. So with this unit, you can program it to come on and go off automatically at specific times. So you don't have to record 24/7. You can record 9 hours a night if you'd like. And what we've done with this, instead of using the factory locations for 2 AAA batteries, I've made some dummy batteries that aren't real batteries. They just make the connections, and there's wires connected to that. And instead of using AAA batteries, we're using D-cell batteries. So instead of getting like 2 nights of recordings with 2 AAA batteries, I'm getting like 32 to 36 nights with D-cell batteries. And just put them all inside the little tube and close up the bottom. And so now I can take this in the woods. I usually find a stick and I'll put a stick under this, and I'll lift it up about 12 feet in the air and hook it to a tree limb a couple feet from the tree itself, and just I usually make note of which channel is left and which channel is the right, so when I'm reviewing the audio I can tell if I capture something coming into the recorder, I can tell which direction it's coming from because one channel is stronger than the other. But that's what we're doing now for long duration audio recorders. It works well. It allows us to capture audio. It's not just Bigfoot stuff, man. We get some good stuff. I've had coyotes come underneath my recorder in the middle of the night and literally just let loose howling right underneath of it. It's cool to hear what's out there in the middle of the night.
For sure. Yeah, FLIR stands for forward-looking infrared. It actually is not really a camera at all. It's more of a sensor. It's not even a camera. It senses temperatures and it creates a video image in return that we can visually see. It's basically sensing long wave infrared. Long wave is everything above absolute zero emits a long wave infrared. That's negative 459 degrees Fahrenheit. So everything above that creates long wave infrared, and this sensor is accurate down to 1/10 of a degree, so to detect that. But we use it in Bigfooting because we're doing a lot of night hiking and such, and these things are so elusive that they can hide from us very easily. And this is it's like a sixth sense that we don't necessarily have, and it allows us to see things in temperature. So it's kind of like with the predator vision. So it's like the movies. Okay.
Right now we're in eastern Rockingham County, and we're doing a night hike. Bigfoots tend to be more active at night, so that's why we go out at night. Not that they're never out in the daytime, there's plenty of daylight activity as well, but at night they don't expect humans to be out in the woods so much, so that kind of piques our curiosity. Hey, what are these humans doing? There's a bunch of weirdos out there marching around with lights on. What's going on here? And then, you know, hopefully we'll pique some curiosity. You've got to find them, and they got to want to come and see what's going on, basically. So that's what we're trying to do, get some audio, hopefully. Maybe a FLIR video would be awesome. That's our goal. Try and prove these things are actually there.
So there's a theory that Bigfoots can produce infrasound, and infrasound is a frequency, a sound frequency that's lower than 20 hertz. So humans can't hear infrasound. We hear from 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. The older you get, the less you hear on the higher side. But a young kid can hear 20,000 hertz fairly easily. But being that there's a theory that Bigfoots can produce infrasound, we don't necessarily know if it's true or not. But if they can produce infrasound, then surely they can hear infrasound as well. Otherwise, it would be no point of them making the sound. This is a little device that produces a sound. It's called the earth tone. They say that this is the sound that the earth makes, but it's like 7.82 hertz or something like that. And so I just turned it on and put it in my backpack and see if it gathers any response. You know, if I'm making a sound that I can't hear, maybe they can hear it. Maybe it irritates them. Maybe they'll, you know, be a little more lively. We don't know. It's just a working theory. We'll see. But cool. I use that. I have a lightning detector on here. If anyone gets zapped, zapping is
possibly infrasound. We don't really know. But it seems that people who get zapped feel ill, physically ill. They get sweaty, they get lightheaded, nauseous, and so we don't know if it's zapping is infrasound. Is it an electrical charge? We don't know. So I am working off of the chance that maybe a lightning detector will actually pick it up if it's some sort of electrical charge. So so I've got that turned on. So if anyone feels ill, maybe my lightning detector will start beeping at the same time, and just to find out if there is any chance that they are related.
Cool.
Use a digital audio recorder while we're out, and so I just use a simple Sony, very inexpensive Sony digital audio recorder, and I have it paired with my my external microphones, and they are actually clipped here onto the sides, one on each side of my backpack, so that way it's true left and a right channel instead of 2 mono channels. Makes it nice. You can sometimes tell which direction the sound came from by listening to your audio that way.
What other tech and gear do you have?
Let's see, what else do I have in here?
You use red light, you were telling me.
We use red
headlamps.
lights. Yeah, I spoke about my LDR. I'm going to put that out tonight while we're out and about. I don't. I have some other things. Like I have the what do you call it? The electromagnetic frequency thing. I don't use it very often. Mostly ghost hunters.
Oh, like
use
a
that
EMF
sort of thing.
reader.
EMF reader. Yeah, I have it. I don't really use it much, but I want to go out tonight, and I brought my laser pointer with me. I've got a really cool laser pointer, and it's something that might draw some interest, some curiosity of some Squatch while we're out and about. That and some low-tech stuff like harmonica. I got a harmonica in here. I have a little infrared, not infrared, it's UV light. If you ever come across any fluids or anything, you can find it that way. We use radios. We use Baofeng radios for long-distance communications. We can reach a few miles usually. With it on the family channel, yeah. but yeah, it's improved. You get the aftermarket antennas for these things, and you can usually stay in touch. It's nice because if you have several groups out and you may be a quarter mile apart, if one group does a wood knock, you want to announce it before, so that way the other group knows it's coming and they don't think that it's another wood knock that was done by an actual Squatch. So we're all going to be in one group tonight, so it's not going to be a big deal at all tonight, but normally there's sometimes 4, 5, 6 groups, and they're within a mile, 2 miles of each other, and they could potentially hear it. But that's about all that I have. I got my wood knocker. We use wood knockers to hit trees with and stuff, but we'll be demonstrating that tonight as well. Yeah, Greg got a big one over there.
Thank you.
But how ready are you?
About as ready as I can be, my man.
You look ready.
I got my $300 pants on.
Yeah.
I have a sit pad.
Why didn't you tell me I had a caterpillar on my face?
Well, thought that was the source of your power.
Yeah.
You got the jams on, Greg.
Mm-hmm. I'm always listening to music.
Well, I have a damn headlamp on, sorry.
Yeah, me too.
We're heading out. We're leaving one incredible location to go to the next.
What's gonna be funny?
So, can't really see the road here.
You're on it.
Oh, that's a good thing. There's some ways up in here.
It was, isn't it?
Yeah.
Did you get your kitchen sink, Greg?
Yep.
Perfect.
There's one in the cabin.
I need to
From 1920.
put this on my pack somewhere.
You need help?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I ain't never
if
seen
you can.
the camera I got. It's a firefighting camera, so I can change the settings on it. So at different temperature ratings. So this is more for like search and rescue. So it's going to lose your color settings, but if you go to a different one, it's going to drop down where you can look for hot spots. So it's going to turn red.
Oh, that's cool.
So this is one we use at night. That way I can see different variations and heat will show up better.
Back here for several years now.
That's sweet.
So,
But that does come in handy for SAR.
yeah.
Especially for incidents that just, you know,
And we use
6
them,
hour
Oh, yeah.
missing person or
yeah,
whatever.
and that's
you know,
what we use them for that too.
where there's life can still be
Right.
preserved.
We also have, there's a drone team at HFD where they have FLIRs on the drones so that they can fly and look for people and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But we use these for everything. If you're missing somebody out of a car out of a wreck, you can look and see if the seats are hot and see how many people were in the vehicle. You can look for people that were ejected with this. We found people that run off.
Are you a fire marshal?
No,
Oh, okay.
no, just a.
You just
firefighter.
assist sometimes?
Yeah, they call us for anything and we show up and help out.
Cool.
But we like I said, we've found people who run off drunk from wrecks. We can put this out in look through the field or the woods and find somebody that ran off and guide the police department to them.
Nice.
So there's all kinds of applications for these things.
Can't see it, but there's a giant field here, an old road.
Yeah, it's a good place to farm.
This is IR. You just be able to see something. Not seeing anything hot.
Is there something hot up there at the top of that road?
Yeah.
Can you tell what it is, Charles?
Everything's just glowing red, but it could be just rocks. The rocks are taking heat from the day. Lots of bats down there.
Mm-hmm. There's a game trail or something, path that runs right through there. This thing's better up close. If you bring it up close, you'll see.
What's the real
There we
good
go.
$5,000 one, Charles? The
what? Pulsars? Pulsar, yeah. Pulsar makes a really good one. But right now, 640 resolution is about the best you can get within reason price-wise, but 1280s are coming out soon. I mean, they're starting to hit the market now, but they are ridiculously expensive. That's 4 times more pixels than a 640. Looks almost like high definition. Like I said, it used to be a really popular place. There were people back here all the time. But since they've closed the road down, it gets very little foot traffic. So that's why I'm like, this is a fresh, untapped, squatchable location. And basically, the area that Charles Corbin had his sighting is that mountain right there. It's like towards the top of it, but just down like maybe a half a mile. So that's how close we are to where his sighting happened.
Can I reach out and is it even any good?
So, are wood knocks communication, would you say? Or?
Yeah, they're a form of communication, just so they can kind of keep track of each other's location. We believe they'll use wood knocks every once in a while because they may be spread out in an area and obviously they can't see each other. But they'll use a wood knock just to reach out and get a wood knock response. Nope, the way they know where any member of their group might be.
Right. Just another form of call.
Yeah. This sounds kind of punky.
A little punky, yeah.
Yeah, let's try up here a little further. I'm trying to find a good solid tree that make a good woody note.
Get to it.
Oh yeah.
Watch out for them diamondback copper moccasins.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this will work. I'm not going to bother letting them know, but I'm just going to try one good wood knock. And then we listen quietly for a couple of minutes to see if we get a response. That was an excellent wood knock.
I thought I heard a really faint knock to my 9 o'clock over there.
You think?
Hopefully they got something on the recorder. Did you hear it, Tyler?
I heard something, but I thought it was that frog that did like a different kind of ribbit, you know?
Different kind of call.
Yeah.
Let's check with these guys. Maybe they heard something.
Kind of sounded hollow, but I couldn't tell if it was a frog or something way out. Yeah, I definitely heard like a hollow sound.
Yeah.
Way after our echo. So what's up, Charles?
Well, we should have day hiked this.
Yeah.
We had known that was not very passable, and it got so thick right here. And what this looks like, it continues on. I went around the corner there, and it just continues just as thick.
Yeah.
So
without any
the last time I was
vision,
here, it wasn't near this bad. It was growing up, but you could still see like both tire tracks in the roadway, but like small trees were starting to grow up in the middle. But it wasn't like this.
It's thick.
Yeah.
Dense in here.
But man, it is prime Squatch habitat.
Oh
now.
yeah.
I mean,
it's a wall of veg.
Yeah.
What is all this right here?
I don't know what it is. I have no idea.
I thought maybe it was mint, but it's definitely not mint.
Yeah, it doesn't smell like that.
No.
But it's probably full of ticks.
Yeah.
So,
tons of stuff. Plan B?
Plan B. Let's back out and let's go back to the dam. At least we had a visual there. We could see.
Yeah, that field.
And we'll do some more calls. We'll do some whoops and knocks together and see how that works out.
Cool. Scout it tomorrow too.
Yeah, but we also have Switzer Dam.
Yeah.
Which is on the other side of that mountain right there. So it's the next left.
Sweet. All right.
Try off the trail over here a little bit.
Let's go a little deeper. I don't want to go too close to the river, but
How about that on the left?
low branches back there. Do you have anything to put it up with? These poles?
That'll be fairly difficult for someone to get.
Yeah, it's pretty up there. Good spot.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, go ahead.
What did you hear?
I heard you right. Yeah, I thought it was that one.
I thought it was behind you.
Okay, I heard it behind Greg, but it's okay. I can.
Did you hear it again?
Yeah, I heard another one.
Another one. We're gonna hang out for a couple minutes. Let it get quiet and do another.
That was very distinct.
I didn't hear the second one. Okay.
Towards the top of that ridge.
So, what I thought I heard from that direction could have just been straight behind me.
Yeah, because Charles and I both drove that way. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a,
That way too. I only heard it in my right ear. And then about halfway to, maybe to the top of that ridge, right there. Right there.
Must have been when I was taking a step.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a good place to put my recorder.
Mm-hmm.
It's recording too, so it definitely got it.
Good. Yeah.
And you'll know exactly when too, right after that.
Yeah, that's why I like
Don't have to
do
look too hard on it.
I like to do a vocal and a knock right after you put a recorder out. Just kind of draw them into the area if they're around.
the rain coming. Yeah.
So we're not that far from the road. Again, you know, I guess we don't have to go.
Way up in the clearance.
You go to the loop?
No, go ahead.
Huh?
You got a better whoop.
Let me do it. That last one wasn't good. Edit that out. All right, ready?
since it seems like they're done and we're on our way out, why don't you do a nice long howl? What else? I mean, we're on the way out, right? Here. You want to step up there? Would you step up there towards it? Hold on a second. Great.
Yeah.
Conversely, I think we sort of piqued their interest.
Maybe we shouldn't.
Maybe we shouldn't, because if we do something that they recognize, okay, that's not a Sasquatch.
They're gonna say, yeah. Okay.
They may not come in and check out your
Right.
microphone or anything like that.
Right.
So,
But something's definitely interacting with us.
yeah, definitely. I think we got its interest. Maybe we just skin
Just
out.
leave it.
Yeah. And let it
Back
come
out.
in and check it out.
Tomorrow, if we come back out here to do a day hike, I should bring a couple apples and some of those toys along and lay those out here, maybe close to the recorder.
Yeah, good idea. We should have thought of that tonight.
I had so much stuff. I was carrying so much. I was just, my arms were full.
All right.
My chair fell off.
No, no.
It's swinging in the breeze.
I'm sure.
Yeah, stick it back.
Swinging in the breeze.
Yeah. Stick it back in my pack here.
Hanging on for dear life. Well, that was something.
That was pretty cool.
That was
That was
pretty
a good
interesting.
interaction.
I've never heard knocks.
Really? That's your
Yeah.
first?
I've only heard crashes and howls in West
Pretty good
Virginia.
too.
So what do you think?
That's pretty. To me, I think it's pretty.
The interaction is what's interesting.
Yeah, it follows shortly after, and what else can make that? I don't know. It's
Exactly.
And it's not doing it until we do it.
yeah,
So it's not like...
yeah. I don't. We didn't hear it coming up here. Oh, there was another one as we're talking.
I didn't hear that.
It's that. It was that same like metal-y
Sounded
sound.
like metal.
Yeah.
Sounds like metal.
So we've got at least 5 metallic knocks so far.
Yeah, it was closer. Definitely closer. It's definitely closer. Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
what's happening is it's up there and it knows that the metal transmits sound, and so it's tapping on that thing.
How far is that pipe run up there?
Oh, well, this
Now, could that-
ran all the way to the top.
Could that pipe creak and make noise too?
No, because that was concrete. I tapped on it and came across. It didn't make any noise.
And we haven't heard it at all today, or see
Right,
until
right.
we started.
And so we started messing around.
That guardrail was continuous all the way up to the
We
very
also
top.
think sometimes they do a mouth pop or just a clap. Even, gorillas will pop their chest.
Oh yeah.
So, it's not always maybe a wood knock, but they're doing some kind of sound.
So, I don't know, maybe walk over there to where it's open and try therming before we... Who knows? Okay.
Yeah, that one was definitely closer at the last
I
one.
remember that guardrail went all the way up to the spot where he said there used to be a mud pit here. And that was the first break in it. So if there is something tapping on that guardrail, it's between here and that mud pit.
Yeah. Yeah, I just heard that too. Yeah. There's like plop. Yeah, right there. It's traveling through. Yeah. That's what we were just talking about. I just heard it. It just came out right here. Right, we were just talking about the sound traveling. That thing's not going down. I don't know. So it traveled. The sound traveled through the metal.
Yeah, we're hoping that it's not just contracting and
Right. Because of the
temperature changing, but it's been very ironic that it was already happening when we were knocking.
big coincidence. That's what we were just talking about. That I had mentioned that it could be this guardrail, whether it's something banging on it, whether it's a limb falling on it or an acorn, but it could be way up there traveling down, and then you guys hear it. It's interesting. But what I think is, There's couple easily. I swear, I think there were other ones other than this.
Oh yeah, there definitely. We heard about 5 metallic knocks, but at least 3, maybe 4 wooden knocks.
That I think is very compelling.
Yeah. And I can isolate the audio and send it to you.
Hell.
Charles, you want to do a knock on the rail? Do you want to do a knock on the guardrail?
I was halfway joking.
Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking it'll be a little bit good.
I think it's Charles. I think you guys should do another wood knock.
Okay, we can do one. Let's do one more wood knock.
And I think we should stand here and hear to see if we hear a metallic sound right here or a wood knock. You know,
It's a good idea.
but Devin was saying that we definitely got true wood knocks and metallic. So your audio recorder will pick it up and we'll be able to say there was multiple sounds. That's so interesting. Okay, that was Devin. I feel like if it were the guardrail expanding and contracting, then we would have heard it more than that to be more consistent. Yeah. I think we would have heard it coming up here. Yeah, I feel like we would have heard it multiple times still. I think it would still be continuing.
And there was a little bit of time passed between our last knock and then that last one we just did. So maybe it's like
It may be gone.
we moved on. Yeah, we did step out from the cover to here, so they could have seen us and realized we're not what they're looking for.
Or heard on solar lights. It could be way up there.
I think it was a pretty good interaction. Yeah, I think we got a good squatch. But, at least one.
I tell you what though, the sound that we heard could not have been what we were hearing back there. I mean, what we were hearing behind us was not this.
Right. Yeah, there were
Yeah, 'cause
different
we were on both
tones.
sides.
Different. One was like a dense woody. The other was this.
Cool things. Got some interaction. First night. That's the bad part about squatching. You can't spend weeks on end.
There was one right there.
Yeah, that one I heard here again.
Yeah, it was right here. Yep.
So I wonder if some of it was, some of it wasn't.
Definitely woody notes. No, that wasn't not good. Yeah, that wasn't all the wood.
No, definitely not. Some of them were louder.
Yeah.
Woody.
Yeah.
As the night drew to a close and we made our way back to the vehicles, I couldn't help but reflect on our first operation. The evening had been filled with activity, interactions from something. Whatever it was, it kept us on edge the entire time. The audio devices the crew placed earlier that day turned out to be invaluable, capturing the strange and unexplainable sounds we encountered in the dark. These sounds, raw, unsettling, and foreign, could very well be the evidence we've been searching for, the elusive vocalizations of a Sasquatch creature. Next time in episode 3, the crew and I will sit down to meticulously analyze the recordings from that night Every whisper, howl, and knock we gathered during our first venture will be dissected in the hopes of uncovering the truth behind these mysterious sounds. Tune in next time to see what secrets we unearth in our ongoing quest for the Shenandoah Sasquatch.